morning, video games. Welcome to Filthy Casuals, a podcast about video games hosted by two very kind and extremely knowledgeable boys. Thank you very much for joining us. My name is Tommy Dasilo, and joining me, as always...
It's Ben Vanel here. We are hands across Australia at the moment. I'm all the way over in beautiful, extremely hot Melbourne. It's like 33 degrees today. And Tommy, you are reporting in once again from not here. You're in Perth. You've just finished your extremely successful run over there at Fringe World. I believe you won Comedy Show of the Week every single week.
Yes.
No, very
Even
very
for
nice
the weeks
to
that I
have...
wasn't here retroactively.
Yes. Yeah. They knew you were coming. They'd seen the script you sent over.
Mm-hmm. I'm noticing that there's a slight delay in us talking over this video call. So it is almost like Perth is delivering the information back to you in real time to kind of catch up the time difference. But yes, thank you to the filth that came down to the show. In particular, I met two fellas after the show one night, both called Connor, who had a little riff about how they met at the Connor convention. And then one of them was like, yeah, and after we fucked, we decided to be friends. I'm like, wait, they make you fuck at the Connor convention? This is interesting bit of lore to introduce to this little flight of fancy. So that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's very good. Con, it would have been called.
Yeah.
Did anyone use that? Do that little riff? Con?
No, unfortunately.
Fuck, I wish I was there.
I had just been riffing for an hour, so I was kind of spent. I think I'd hit my riff capacity. But hey, look, it's been a pretty interesting week, and I've been talking to you a little bit about the experience of being over here and doing the Perth Fringe World, and maybe I'll talk a little bit more in depth and a little more openly on our Patreon episode for this week.
For sure,
so if you want to hear some anger, some white hot rage about what it is like to do a Fringe Festival in the year 2026, you can get onto our Patreon, support the show, and you get a bonus episode every week.
Yeah, if you liked Greg Larson's show about how the comedy industry has beaten him down over a couple of decades, stay tuned for that special Patreon episode. We can also dig through the results of my sleep study, which I am looking at right now.
You just got them since we've been on the air?
1 hour ago. So while I was prepping, came through in the Gmail. Did it a couple of weeks ago now. Real unk hours. Have they summarized it for you, or have they just done the thing where they send you the raw? Like my GP will send me. He's like, here's the results, and it's like the lab breakdown that is not laymanized at all. So I'm looking at it going like, Doc, literally what? In English, egghead, what am I looking at? No, there's some summaries. I think the people who provided the results also assumed the GP might be, he might need a little coaching. But no, there's some like recommendations and conclusions and shit. But I also slept like shit last night. Can confirm I still have bad sleep. But we have too much to talk about on this actual regular episode to go into any of that fun stuff. Big Sony State of Play, few other things announced, some video game movie movement, some layoffs. They never end. We thought we were done and dusted with layoffs from last year, but fuck me. We both played at least one new game.
We need to formalize a part of the show called the Layoff Corner. And I think if we have any musically gifted people that listen to this that would like to volunteer perhaps to make us up a little jingle for the Layoff Corner, because we are going to be using it every week. So maybe that's something that we could solicit if anyone wants to get the juices flowing and come up with a little layoff jingle for us.
I might see if we can get a recruitment company to sponsor it as well. Just real synergy, real perfect synergy. I'm always thinking brand, but let's. What do you want to start with? There are a couple of little, news story about the great Jason Momoa. We all know him and love him as Aquaman and Game of Thrones guy. He will be, I guess, the lead in the Helldivers film that has been announced.
Yes.
It's coming from Sony Pictures and PlayStation Studios, which I watched. No, it was this State of Play. I was like, where's that cool production ident with all the characters? But I guess they just do that for the incredible pictures that they produce, like Uncharted and others. But
yes.
yeah, this cunt, he's in
Gran
Minecraft.
Turismo.
He's in... yeah, Gran Turismo. He's in Minecraft. He was in, of course... or he will be in Street Fighter, which I'm still kind of keen on.
Yep.
And then, Helldivers. We're kind of in the third wave of trying to adapt games into movies, and I guess when you have something like Minecraft and Super Mario Brothers go off, to like the tune of $1 billion, there's going to be more coming.
That's true. Yeah. I don't know enough about Helldivers to be able to speak on whether he's a good fit for it. It is interesting that, him and Jack Black appear in the Minecraft movie together, and Jack Black is probably like the other guy who seems to have decided to make a huge run for, being in the most video game adaptations possible. It's funny that all of these adaptations they just want to all use the same people, but we've had with the Mario movie and the Minecraft movie like huge commercial success. I think kids really loved it, but critically not really lauded, and audiences over a certain age not really gelling with it, which is interesting because with TV you have an adaptation like The Last of Us, which incredibly popular both with people who've played the games and with people who haven't played the games. So I don't know. I wonder if it is possible to get the video game adaptation that doesn't just make a lot of money but also lands with people artistically, or whether there's just a complete let's not worry about it.
Yeah, because I think it was Justin Kurzel, the Aussie guy, who directed that Assassin's Creed film with Fassbender in it, and I think that was an attempt to be an adult, serious film with a bit of cred, and I think it just wasn't very good. I think a lot of people said it was kind of boring, a bit dull, which that's down to, I guess, the script and the directing and, not necessarily the property. But Helldivers, I feel like, because the main thing I got from Helldivers having played it was, this is what if Starship Troopers was a video game, but not a Starship Troopers video game because they were not very good. Like, it basically takes all the, extreme satire of, join up, serve serve the planet, be a Marine, hoorah, and he's doing it in very much a tongue-in-cheek way. So, I mean, if they turn Helldivers the film into Starship Troopers 4 or whatever they actually got up to, that could be fun. I don't know. Starship Troopers itself wasn't well received critically. I think people thought it was a serious take on a sci-fi film, but I think there's potential with this property and with this attitude to the military and propaganda and stuff. Who is making it?
I mean, I'm also still keen to see how this Street Fighter movie goes down.
Yeah.
Because, I don't know. I think, it is interesting adapting Minecraft and Mario. They're both properties that are popular with young children, and you can have a movie that is just bright and a bunch of bullshit, and kids are going to always, be drawn to that. And they are both properties that are currently popular with that age bracket. Something like Street Fighter has its fans, but they're a bit older, so making something that's just a bit dumb and goofy and aimed at kids and is all the Street Fighter 2 stuff. Does Street Fighter 2 still resonate with a younger audience that are going to be more forgiving of how goofy this film is? I'm not really sure, and I guess it's the same as Helldivers. Do the people that would be explicitly targeted by this, do they have any interest in going to the movies to see it in the first place? I think that is the sweet spot, is to just take stuff like Roblox and, the stuff that is more predominantly popular in the sphere of an audience that just wants some color and movement on the screen.
Yeah, true. Like if they made a Fortnite film, which obviously is tough because a lot of that depends on all the other media properties being characters, being skins in Fortnite. But yeah, like if they made a Fortnite film, probably a 3 billion 11-year-olds would go see it, and it wouldn't really matter how good it was.
I think that's the one they should be doing instead of this. Honestly, I mean, you could make some. I don't know what the default characters in that are like, but I'm sure there's enough of a blank skin that you can, flesh it out into, or do the Minecraft movie thing of it's kind of a bit of like guy gets sucked into the video game, right? So you could do like a little bit of that with Fortnite.
But I do know that Minecraft, like similarly, it just has a guy called Steve, and he just looks like the most generic blocky human ever. So yeah, I think it's the same thing. It's like just take this blank canvas and turn it into whatever you want. So the director of this Helldivers movie is Justin Lin, who's done a bunch of stuff, including Fast and Furious movies. So, I don't think he is necessarily the Fast and Furious audience is happy for, fast cars and explosions and guys saying really dumb things. I'm sure he himself has more depth to him, and it doesn't automatically mean Helldivers is going to be dumb with explosions. I don't know. I'm curious. I'm curious to see how it turns out, but make a fucking Fortnite film, you silly sausages.
Well, look, speaking of something that I don't think will be getting adapted anytime soon is High Guard. Landed with a bit of a thud, and some big layoffs 2 weeks after release with the developer Wildlight Entertainment.
Yeah.
This seems to be a bit of a pattern with these like what is High Guard on? Is it everything or is it just PlayStation?
I'm pretty sure it's on
interested I am
every. I think it's on everything. Because it was just announced at the Game Awards. It wasn't announced at a specific direct.
Sure. That's right.
Yeah, Wildlight, which was, I think, developers who'd been previously at places like Respawn. Like, they'd worked on some really successful games like this. And yeah, I mean, there's some interesting articles about this. I think Jason Schreck wrote kind of about, the phenomenon of the online multiplayer shooter, like character shooter, and how much investment is riding on them in the first place. Maybe it was a Forbes article, actually, that it was kind of comparing, I think, Concord and High Guard, and how, it's years of development, so much money is put into them, and the entire time, sort of the rider on that is like, well, the investment has to get paid off by, tens of thousands of people loving this and buying a bunch of the, optional extras. And if you don't get it early, and like High Guard hasn't been, taken offline or anything, they've just fired all of their developers they had
like a year of
engineers,
content planned,
designers.
which it seems like maybe they're not going to do now. Yeah.
I mean, if there's no one there to make it,
It does seem like, you're right, the need for it to be a huge success early on when, some of the best examples of that, the most successful examples, like they took a bit of time, but I guess that's what's going to happen when when what you're making is just trying to replicate that, and you know what the roadmap can be. You're like, okay, let's go, but you need to get it out there without that same amount of pressure. And if people are going to come to it, I think that's the main thing too, is like, I think people kind of see through this stuff now. They see that it is just a carbon copy.
Yes.
And that it's driven by spreadsheets and numbers and projections rather than just being someone's like labor of love or something that they think is like a really cool, neat little idea. And when it's kind of forced down your throat with all this marketing, and there have been so many examples now of people getting into the game and spending some money on all this stuff, and then the servers get shut down a month later. Like, I just think people's goodwill and patience with this stuff is gone from a from a gamer point of view. And then, meanwhile, the people making it don't have the luxury of being able to have the patience to be like, you know what, if it takes a couple of years to get the numbers of people playing it we need, then that's fine. So, but that sucks if all of that is obviously means that people get caught in the middle who have worked on the game and put a tremendous amount of hours and time and passion into it, get kicked to the curb.
Yeah, I mean, there was a post on X by one of the developers, a technical artist, Josh Sobel. I think he has since deleted his X account. And it was very frank. It was very open. He, and it was very earnest. He's it's quoted here in this Polygon article about it. The day leading to the Game Awards was amongst the most exciting of my life. After 2.5 years of passionately working on Highguard, we were ready to reveal it to the world. The future seemed bright. But then, he kind of, I think, is having a go at the public response. Not so much like the positioning, because it was meant to be shadow dropped and then it's revealed at Game Awards and the expectations are built so much. But he talks about the people who turned it into a joke from minute one. People decided it was dead on arrival. They got review bombed by people who'd played it for less than an hour. And yeah, I don't know. You can't only blame the audience for your piece of art not being successful. Especially if it's not. I don't know. I'm sure that the hours that they poured into working on it, they worked incredibly hard. They had passion for what they thought they were making, but when it seems like you say a kind of a cynical grab at replicating something that's already successful, people see through it, and it's not unfair for those people to be like, yeah, this, we've got Overwatch at home, it's just kind of what it was. And I think Concord is different.
I think,
Concord had an art style. It had a perspective. It had it was a paid game. So there was, I think, a bit more writing on it for sure. But I'm sure the people that were working on that had a vision and a perspective. And that was more that the corporation just kind of dropped it and gave it zero support immediately. Highguard, I do feel like people just kind of saw it for the carbon copy of Overwatch that it was and didn't want to play it. But it's tough when you're the person who made it. You're going to feel very defensive. That's not, unfair.
I mean, I think people respond to the marketing more than anything else is probably where his issue lies, to sort of blame the audience. It's as you say, it's the trailer, it's the way it all looks, it's the way it's put in front of them. I think a lot of these things that have ended up being big in the past have ended up being big almost by accident and been a bit of a surprise thing that people have come to. I think that's the main thing, is that there's a segment of that audience that want to feel like they're the ones that discovered it more so than feel like they're responding to having the carrot dangled in front of them and having someone market it to them and be successful. If it had have just shadow dropped and if there hadn't been the big overt push to appeal to people who like Overwatch, then maybe people would have gravitated towards it and it would have connected in a more organic way.
That's it, right? I think organic is the key term, because PUBG was organic. It was a solo developer who had this, really great idea for an online game that was pretty revolutionary at the time. Maybe there were, other similar things in different formats, but the third person, kind of stealth shooter where you're battling to stay alive as, to the last person, that was original. The fact that Fortnite basically copied it, is the outlier. The fact they copied it and succeeded is the thing that it seems like every company is basing their own potential, success on. And Fortnite changed a lot of it, and it marketed it to children, and it added all of these or it removed, I guess, a lot of the sharp edges, and it made it way more palatable, and that's why it succeeded. But you can't catch lightning in a bottle twice. And I feel like that's what everyone who's trying to do this is, that's what they're thinking. It's like, yeah, it's easy to catch lightning in a bottle. You just hold the bottle out and lightning goes in. It's like, no, no, brother.
Yeah.
That's not how it works.
Well, should we move on to some happier news? There was a Sony State of Play just a few short days ago. Feels like a lifetime ago for me because I've been stranded in Perth, but for the rest of us, it was only a couple of days. So let's. Why don't we go through it? Why don't we fucking cut to the chase and just go through this thing?
Yeah. There was one thing that I kind of missed because I watched it, but I skimmed it. I skimmed through it the next day. I didn't just watch the clips. I watched the whole thing. But apparently, the original God of War trilogy is being remade. I don't know to what extent that, is being remade, whether it is like some of the more recent ones where it's kind of just a coat of paint. The Metal Gear Solid Delta one where the graphics were way better, the performance was better, but the actual game didn't change. But that's exciting. Like those original games are, I think, something that you would really like, Tommy. Like they're very Bayonetta-esque. They're that kind of heaps of enemies coming at you, waves and waves, and you're doing these crazy big sort of, melee combat combos and special abilities and things. And I really like the story. Like, it is that original sort of Greek myth story rather than the reboot, which is kind of like, a revisionist, putting it in a different place and reflecting on that character. So that's cool. I would be excited to play those again because I think, I'm not sure how easy it is to play them, or I'm sure they haven't been sort of upscaled for frame rate and visuals. But there's also this 2D game,
no
Sons
real
of Sparta.
no reveal of what it looks like or anything like that. Like
No.
literally just saying like we're working on this. And yes, sorry, as you say, a 2D prequel game, Sons of Sparta, that's out now. This was a shadow drop, as they like to say.
That's actually a really good technique for marketing and getting buzz around a game. People should do more of that. But what do you think of how this looks?
Away, but I don't really know. I'm a little torn on the trailer. Like it. How would you describe it? It kind of looks a bit hand-drawn, but then when you zoom in, it is a little pixely. It looks kind of like... It reminds me a lot of the sort of look of a lot of games when they transitioned into like the PlayStation 1 era, but they maybe weren't... Like if they were still making a 2D game and they weren't confident enough to get the clarity of polygons looking impressive enough, what they would do is have this like very, very detailed sprite art to a level that, was not possible on the Super Nintendo or anything like that. A game that we'll talk about in a little bit, Rayman, the first Rayman is probably a good example of that. Very detailed, but still 2D. So it kind of has that sort of look to it. It's a little, Newgrounds Flash kind of.
I was going to say the exact same thing.
I don't know. I was looking at it and I was thinking like I should be into this, but I'm sort of not. Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't. It looks like a lot of the stuff that I do kind of like doing, but I'm just sort of, I don't know what it is. Weirdly disinterested in this. I like the world of those games and everything, and I mean it is like a kind of a different setting for a 2D side scroller than typically what we've seen. But yes, you're right. You hit the nail on the head there. The fan game is kind of what it looks like to me.
Yeah, odd. I mean, obviously, this they'd have not as much budget as they possibly desire, but they would have enough budget to make a 2D game look however they want it to look, And I feel like it's been a style choice, and I don't know, something about it. I completely agree. Like, sure, like there's these nice particle effects and sort of animations in the backdrops and stuff, but yeah, the way it's drawn, I don't know. But it could be really fun. And I did always really like the more 2D action platformer kind of games from back in the day. And I've enjoyed sort of, your Metroidvanias and your recent Prince of Persia 2D games. this kind of looks
Yep.
a lot like that without the platforming. So yeah, I mean, I'll give it a crack. It's out now, like you say.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I think I'd be more into it weirdly if it didn't have the God of War license. You know, if it was just a
Sure.
if it was just a random indie platformer set in this
Yep.
kind of world, in the Greek mythology kind of stuff, I would think it felt kind
Yeah.
of cool and unique. But it kind of, I don't know, it's like weird timing for it to come along too. Like it's a couple of years since God of War 2, and those remakes are probably a fair way off. It just feels like a weird little, here you go. Like, I don't know. But yeah, maybe it is really good. Definitely keen to give it a try. Something else I am really keen to give a try to is Beast of Reincarnation. We got another look at that. This is like the weird thing that I'm finding with a lot of these like directs and presentations is just a lot of the same games showing up across like all of the different directs at this point, and we'll get to a couple more of them in a minute, but I mean, not that it's a bad thing, like I don't know, it just is kind of a weird thing already when you've got like these presentations where companies are sort of trying to, I don't know, have a bit of ownership over this game when it's like, no, it's coming out on everything. So like, you know, you always see like in a PlayStation, in a Sony State of Play, there ends up being like on the Nintendo news websites, it's like, oh hey, four games just got release dates for the Nintendo Switch because they happen to be mentioned in the State of Play, but they're coming out on everything. But that being said, this game just looks fucking awesome. I can't wait. It looks so good.
I'm so excited to play a great Game Freak game. It looks awesome.
Yeah.
The visuals are cool. The setting's great. The sort of, the like semi-future plant animal, like cyberpunk mixture. It's out on August 4th, which is cool. Good to know that. Good to have something in the depths of winter to take our minds off how fucking cold Melbourne gets. But this looks great. It still looks great. Like you say, we've seen it before. But yeah, I'm still excited for it. And it is a tough line to toe of getting your thing out there enough that people are like, yes, I know this game exists. I will pre-order it. I will play it. You know, it's on my radar versus I'm so sick of this fucking game.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really interesting when this comes out. If it's as good as, you know, how it looks from the trailers, and if it runs as well and looks as good, I think it's going to be it'll be an interesting narrative around what that says about Game Freak and their their commitment to Pokemon. I think it's really going to drive people crazy if this looks beautiful and is super fun to play and feels unique and fresh. Like, the question is going to be like, well, what's going on over there? When the reality is, I think what's going on over there is that they're beholden to the Pokemon Company. Oh, this was something that happened during the week. Just as a sidebar, there was an ad for Pokemon in the Super Bowl, and people did the maths on what a Super Bowl ad costs, and they worked out that they would have paid more for that Super Bowl ad than the entire budget of Pokemon ZA Legends, which is insane.
And I think that's the reason that Pokemon games aren't keeping up with, everything else, right? Like, clearly Beast of Reincarnation was given the budget where, I don't know how they raised the investment, but, it's coming out on a bunch of platforms that aren't Nintendo. It's not produced and beholden to the Pokemon Company. But clearly they got enough money to make this game, this AAA game. Whereas, they get $13 million US to make a Pokemon game, which is, like you said, less than the cost of a Super Bowl ad. It's insane. And I think you're right.
Yeah.
People will start to, despite loving Pokemon and being just like lifelong fans, they will start to kind of shift that gaze to the Pokemon Company, and they will start to demand, I think, a better quality of games.
I think this game is going to have kind of an annoying sort of launch couple of weeks where it will be impossible to separate it from people's feelings about Pokemon and seeing Game Freak make a game that, feels competently made, I think is going to kind of maybe dominate the conversation and get in the way of just assessing this game on its own merits. But hey, we'll see. Kena, Scars of Cosmora, Jesus Christ, is the sequel to Kena Bridge of Spirits, which was apparently quite good. I never played. Maybe I'll dive in. I always thought it looked kind of fun. I think it just came out at a time where I was not really up for the sort of game that it was. But this trailer looks kind of like more of the same kind of action adventure sort of game with a very, I guess, Pixar-y DreamWorks kind of art style, like semi-realistic, but character design very cartoony, but then like lots of environments and fantasy magic kind of stuff. I don't know. I thought that the first one was sort of moderately well received. It didn't strike me as something that there was anyone really clamoring for a sequel to. But maybe this will be like a bit of a Horizon thing now, where they absolutely flog it and run it into the ground and put out like a Lego version and a whole bunch of spin-offs that people don't really want.
I do like that in the wrap-up article that we're reading, the thumbnail images for Beast of Reincarnation and Kena Scars of Cosmora are basically the same. A character standing next to a giant wolf with a green tail.
Yes.
It's a truly original time in video games. But yeah, I heard the same thing, that the original one was like really, really fun, like very well-crafted gameplay that was super, super rewarding. I think I just never liked how it looked visually, and that kind of held me off from ever getting it. It being basically, from what I can tell, like, a third-person action game of which I've got my favorites. I've got, enough on the slate coming up that I know I'm going to play. I just never got around to it. But I thought that the character designs were not to my taste. They were, like you say, a little DreamWorksy, but the environments look fucking incredible. And sort of the effects, the combat, all of that stuff, the animations, it looks really beautiful. And I just checked, the original one is like $30 on Steam at the moment, 30 Australian. Certainly worth giving a crack at.
I saw a tweet the other day that was someone going, they'd made an image and they're like, if Sony milked their IP as much as Nintendo, and it was like Astrobot Kart, Astrobot RPG, Paper Astrobot, Astrobot Fighters, and then someone had quote tweeted it going, how would this be a bad thing? And another one was like, Sony fans unable to cope with the idea of having more than one game a year. And they'd made like images of all of them, and they're like, oh, this is what had happened, and it's like, these all look sick. What are you talking about?
Yeah. Because like, as much as I 3D platformers are never really my thing, fucking an Astrobot kart would be awesome. Get me in. Yeah.
Well, once you've got a little mascot, it's like, that's what you want him for, is to be able to put him in other scenarios. And well, hey, I mean, that tweet, they're trying to say like, what if? But, it kind of does already happen, because we got an announcement that next month in the State of Play, we are getting Ghost of Yotei Legends.
Yes.
This is the new version of a thing that they also put into Ghost of Tsushima. It's a... online multiplayer kind of repurposing of the main game. I don't think this is really either of our bag, baby, but it does look cool.
Yeah, I did before. I think in the lead up to Yotei, which one is it? I've forgotten now. It's been so long since we talked about it.
I think Yotei.
I did give a little burl of the Tsushima version of this, and it's like really cool. The presentation is sick, like the way you sort of begin that mode, like there's all of these cool cutscenes and stuff. The visualization is like much darker, and the enemies are like monsters and shit. Like, it is really cool, and I think you can. I think it's like, it's co-op if you want, but I'm pretty sure you could just go through it single player, and it was fun what I played. Again, I don't know if I just have like the time, the actual man hours to go into something that's like an offshoot of something I've already completed when there's sick stuff coming out all the time. But yeah, I imagine if you did enjoy this original version in Tsushima, you're pretty pumped for this because it looks sick. I just like the creativity of the monsters and shit. It's it's good stuff.
I do really like in any kind of multiplayer side thing like this when they come up with a sort of interesting justification for why the game suddenly functions like this, rather than, not that I played it, but my understanding of the Last of Us 2 version is just like, I don't know, you're just running around shooting each other. There's no like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's no like internal
Right.
logic for like why this is why Joel's all of a sudden trying to blow Ellie's head off. Like, whereas this seems to have a nice, sort of real, like, in world justification for this new mode. We got a first look at Silent Hill Townfall. This looks really cool. I wish I was more across the Silent Hill franchise. Maybe people listening can let us know in the year of our Lord 2026, where is a good place to start if we wanted to get in? Because this franchise has sort of become quite unwieldy. It feels like was there another, like a remake in the last year or something, and I don't know. And now this is like what, a spin-off kind of thing. It's I don't know. It's hard to keep up with where you at this point now. If you want to get in, like, where do you start? Like, what's what's essential, what's good? I don't know. But I love the feel of this trailer, the tone of it.
Yeah.
Creepy music, very atmospheric. I was really quite taken by this.
Yeah, me too. I think I've played a bit of the first game, like the original first game, back in the day, and it was cool and very scary. I think that probably people would say the remake of Silent Hill 2, which came out, when was that? A couple of years ago? 2024. Is a fantastic game. People really liked it as a remake. It's going to be, I think, a lot more palatable gameplay-wise for someone who's never played any of this franchise. I agree. I think the trailer for this looks great. It's probably the first one that, like, in the past 3 or so years of trailers for new Silent Hill games that has got me.
Agreed.
Because, it appears to be first person, very light on sort of like the HUD elements, like very immersive. And then I think, just the direction of the trailer was great. Like, if this was a film, I'd probably be keen on that as well. But yes, I think this is going to be one I'll have a crack at. And I think I'll probably try the remake of 2 beforehand.
Yeah, I mean, this is a spin-off, so hopefully it seems like maybe, I'm sure there's like references here and there, but to me, not being married, but it seems like the kind of thing that you could just dive in as a first time. And it really does go to show, like, in these presentations where there's so many, like, I don't know, medieval fantasy things that all kind of feel like they've got sort of the same soundtrack in them, and they become a bit, anime, sci-fi shooter things that all become a bit indistinguishable from one another. Once a trailer drops that's got like a bit of its own weird tone and vibe to it, it really does stick out and make an impression. Recommend checking out this trailer if you didn't see it, because it's very well made. Silent Hill Townfall. Death Stranding 2 on the beach coming to PC. I don't think we really have anything to say about that other than it was both of one of our favorite games of last year, if not all of all time, for me personally at least.
Yes.
So if you don't have a PlayStation 5, definitely recommend checking that out.
Yeah.
2 Legacy of Kain games, a remaster of Legacy of Kain Defiance. Never played Legacy of Kain, can't speak to whether this is a welcome remaster or not. Have you ever played any of these games?
Yes, I played Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver back in the day, which I don't think is the first one. It's somewhere in the franchise. Yeah, Blood Omen is, I think, maybe the first one. But yeah, played Soul Reaver. Very cool. Specifically, the character design of that protagonist in Soul Reaver was just, really got me. Real creepy, real weird, kind of Abe's Odyssey vibes of that that main protagonist, but obviously way darker. But yeah, this I just kind of glazed over when this was playing. That's great. That's fine. Right. You know, if you want to play this game again on a modern console, that's sick. And then they did the God of War thing and pumped out a 2D action game that's a prequel.
Yeah. That's the new, the farming sim or whatever. There's always a thing that there's weirdly, coincidentally, about 8 of in the one direct. The prequel 2D platformer for a beloved 3D franchise. Legacy of Kain Ascendance, that's called, out March 31 on, and both of these are on everything.
Yes. Yeah, this one I think looks like it commits to a bit more of an actual pixel art style, which, appeals to me more. Unfortunately, the setting appeals to me like all the franchise appeals to me less.
Yeah, it's got that annoying thing just looking from the trailer where it's like the gameplay is all pixel art style, but then it's got these little cutscene-y things where characters are talking to each other and they're sort of like these very detailed paintings that are like kind of popping up over the top of the pixel art style. That kind of stuff really irks me. I like consistency. If it's pixel art, have it all. You know what I mean? I don't like this thing where something comes in and it's just like over the top of it a completely different aesthetic. I find it very jarring, and then it's like, well, so why does the rest of this look pixel art if it's not meant to be transporting us into the realm of like playing this on a NES or whatever? Like what? Like why are we doing this? I don't know. It looks a little. It makes it look
when
a
they're
little
that distinct, right? Because the Persona games, the graphics are 3D, and then you have the anime portraits. But at least the graphics, the style of the character design, the world design, it all makes sense. It all feels cohesive.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, like you said before, Rayman's back, but not in a new way.
Rayman is back. No. I saw a tweet from Ubisoft that was like, what would you like to see for Rayman's 30th anniversary? This is a couple of weeks ago, and someone had just responded, a fucking game. And I guess they got their wish, but it's not being remastered, it's not being remade, it's just the original game available. It's out now, right? On everything.
Yes.
I think it's got a documentary included in there, but I mean, I don't know. I was I played a little bit of Rayman 2 on the Switch Online over Christmas. I dipped back into Rayman Legends recently, and it's such a fucking good game, and I don't know why they haven't done anything with him in such a long time. Especially, I mean, we've kind of had the same thing this year with the Mario 40th anniversary, like their attempts at sort of going, this is what we're doing, and just like, oh yeah, the tennis game's part of it. It's like, well, the tennis game was going to come out anyway. Like, that's not you celebrating the anniversary. And they missed the Zelda anniversary, essentially.
Yes.
These kind of big landmarks roll around and people get all excited, and it's almost like the people in charge of these franchises get caught off guard by it, and like, at the last minute go like, oh shit, we should do something to celebrate it, but we really should have started working on something for this 4 years ago, and then we could have had it out and ready to go. So yeah, well, you can't easily get the first game on anything, so we'll just chuck it up, I guess. And from what I hear of that first one, it was like fine at the time, but I don't think it's particularly a game that people are ever, it's not Super Mario Brothers 3. It's not like one of the landmarks that people are constantly going back to. I think it is quite, a lot of it is quite dated in a lot of ways, but I don't know. Cool, I guess. I'd like to see that documentary.
Yeah, I'm curious about that. And it's a franchise that got better as it went on. So yeah, just pumping out the original with no changes seems odd. And it is weird when companies are like developers or whoever, don't seem to see their own milestones coming up and don't appreciate that people want to celebrate them. Anyway, our 10-year anniversary of Filthy Casuals was September last year.
Okay. I know you're a bit of a furry, so what did you think of this? Project Windless.
Honestly, this did not grab me. I don't know why. People are frothing
Really?
over it being a chicken, but it just kind of looks like one of many third-person action games set in a indeterminate but, ancient past where...
Yeah.
Yeah, you're a big weird character doing fights. I love Black Myth Wukong, where it's this, but you play as a monkey. But I don't know. I don't know why this didn't grab me.
Having not played any of the other examples of this sort of format. I thought this looked really cool, but I am.
Okay.
I'm not at the point of having interacted with this style of world too many times. So this is a open world RPG. It's set in the world of a fantasy series called The Bird That Drinks Tears, which is, why aren't you calling it that?
Yeah,
Project
that's a sick
Windless?
name.
What the fuck are you on about? Yes, you play as a big fucking jacked chicken man.
Yeah.
I saw something online of someone saying like, "Oh, Peter Griffin is so fucked," and it's hard to not see that side of it when when you're watching the trailer. But looks beautiful. Graphically looks incredible. The environments look great. Huge hordes of enemies. I don't know. I could see this going either way. I'm definitely interested. I don't think there's any kind of release date or anything for this.
I don't think so. No, I think because this is the first ever reveal. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
So
curious. I'm curious, and I'm willing to be convinced. Like I said, I like this kind of game. The issue is just probably that I've played too many in the past couple of years. But there's still so much more of this state of play to get through, and we've been talking for 47 minutes, so maybe we should skip over a couple of things. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot we can skim. Left 4 Dead co-op game, 4 Loop. I don't think that's really up either of our alley, but the Left 4 Dead head's probably happy. There is a demo for Pragmata up now on the PlayStation 5, so you can have a go of that. Another one that we've seen heaps of in every presentation, I think, at this point of every platform, as is also the case with Resident Evil Requiem. People commented on it was nice to see a trailer for this game where Leon actually lands some shots because he was not allowed to actually injure or kill anyone in the trailer that was in the Nintendo Partner Direct. Brigandine Abyss, again, not really my tempo, but new tactics game. Lots of playable classes. Don't really know anything about this series. Is it a series? Is it an ongoing thing? I don't know.
I think it's an ongoing series, and I think just the presentation of that specific game's approach to tactical, strategy battles didn't scratch the itch for me. I will say, after we saw the reveal of Star Wars Galactic Racer at the Game Awards last year, something about this trailer, I just thought graphically it didn't look very good. I thought it was a bit simplistic and there was like a bit missing from the environments and shit. But we love a racing game. We love an arcade style racing game. So I'm definitely going to play this.
It looks sick. It looks like there's potentially some sort of like mild story kind of elements in there. Like there's little cutscenes in this. I got to say though, the thing that stuck out to me, because we were talking about this in relation to Star Wars Outlaws, that the music is such a big part of Star Wars, and there's just something about seeing a Star Wars trailer that's got this real that style of music that is in like every other game trailer, the real like wah wah sort of style of music. That felt really jarring to me. It felt really tonally off. I don't know if I've seen a Star Wars thing that that didn't adhere to the guidelines of that beautiful score that always accompanies Star Wars stuff. Made it feel very generic.
Yeah. Yeah, it did. It could, like, because I saw people compare it a little bit to the Wipeout games, the sort of the hovering, rapid-paced, kind of crazy futuristic racing. But even the Wipeout games had a really distinctive soundtrack. It was different to Star Wars, but it was very, very, unique and, memorable. Yeah, I agree. Maybe that's what did it for me. There was something missing. There was a hook missing from the trailer that just, I don't know, it didn't fully suck me off. But a game that would fully suck me off is Dead or Alive.
Yeah, it's its 30th anniversary. Cool. We got a new look at Control Resonant, the sequel to Control. I saw people commenting on the fact that, did you see that thing? I don't know if we ever talked about it on here, but someone made like a parody video of like Mario as a AAA title, and it's like him talking over comms with Princess Peach and her going like, "You got this, M," and just all these like kind of lame cliches that are in these kinds of games. And people picked up that there's a little hint of that in this trailer,
right?
Of just like they're not so much like the hand holding stuff, but they're like, hey, if you head down here, then you should find like radioing with someone who's being like kind of sassy but also just like sort of quite clumsily giving you directions. But that being said, this looks sick. You've got like a kind of playing with a lot of gravity stuff. You're able to like kind of jump into the air and then sort of shift and be standing on the side of a building, and then the camera kind of tilts and now everything's on the side. It looks fucking mad.
Yeah, pumped for this. Still no release date, but very excited.
Yep. Crimson Moon, anything for that?
It looked like a lower budget version of Dark Souls. It didn't really grab me, but yeah.
Yep. There's a new trailer for Mina the Hollower. A new demo that's out now. So yeah, hopefully we're close to getting a new release date for that. It's looking good. I'm excited for that game. What else? Yeah, let's rip through these. I don't know if there's anything else in particular that I have too much to say on. Another Metal Gear Solid collection. A new Castlevania game called Belmont's Curse from the company that worked on the Dead Cells DLC. Looks cool. Castlevania is sick. Neat that there's a new one coming out. A John Wick video game.
Yeah. I don't know about this. I mean, I do like the biggest appeal of watching a John Wick film is being like, what if this was like a Batman Arkham style fighter? Yet this didn't grab me. I don't know. People love John Wick though, and so I'm sure there's a massive audience for it. Yeah, I don't know.
We saw a little more of Saros coming quite soon now. Looking great. Another one of those sort of trailers where you've got the guy from the studio kind of talking you through what you're seeing. Pumped for this. Looking really cool. And yeah, I guess that's about it of everything that we're interested in. Yeah.
Cool. I reckon that covers it off.
Good direct. State of play.
Very good. Very good state of play. Bad direct. Not enough Nintendo games.
Well, a lot of games that are going to be on Nintendo console, so it kind of was.
That's true.
De facto, a fairly good Nintendo Direct.
I am excited for the Game Freak game that's featured. So yeah, that's not unfair. No, I think it was good. I don't know that a lot of the brand new reveals were the things I was most excited for. I think the things that we've been seeing already continue to look good. Happy and excited to have kind of a bit more of a roadmap for the year. Famously, they said no first-party games were going to be announced or revealed or released last year. So, sick to see some more good stuff on PlayStation, which, I think a couple of weeks ago they said, like, Oh yeah, we're not doing the PS6 anytime soon. It's not going to be until like 2028 at the earliest that we start rolling out, the marketing for it. So we've got a good couple of years of solid PS5 games. And yeah, those were some of them. Very cool.
Yeah. Well, let's get into what we've been playing this week. I, over here in Perth, have been spending what minimal free time I have hitting the court and playing the new Mario Tennis Fever game. This is the latest in the storied Mario Tennis franchise. And the little gimmick this time around is that you have these Fever rackets, which there are, I think, 30 of or 30-something of that you can gradually unlock as you play the game. I've now unlocked all of them. And you choose a character that each has their own stats and kind of, special sort of thing to them. And you pick a Fever racket and you build up a gauge over the course of playing the match. And then you can unleash a Fever shot, which will be things like putting some fire on the court or summoning a little enemy on the court that kind of roams around. All sorts of things like that. Putting some ink or mud on the court that if you kind of run into it puts shit all over the screen and you can't see. There's a whole array of these kinds of effects. When you play a Fever shot, if the other person returns it before the ball bounces and touches the court, you can kind of counter it. So you can get into these rallies where you're going back and forth. And so there's not only the strategy of what is the most what's a racket with an effect that I really like that I think is very effective, but you also do have to be aware that if you pick the most debilitating one, you may frequently end up being the victim of your own ability that you've selected. To start with just the overall kind of gimmick of it and conceit, because I feel like that's where these games tend to live or die, is how much you connect with this new thing that they've put in. And I think a lot of the time for me personally, the things that they add in, the gimmick kind of gets in the way of what is fun about playing tennis with the Mario characters. And for me personally, this conceit, I fucking love. I'm having a really good time with it. I think it's come the closest to what I've kind of... The Nintendo 64 one I loved, but there's no gimmicks to it really. It is just a straight up tennis game. And I remember playing that as a little kid and really enjoying it, but kind of wishing that it had like some version of like Mario Kart to the tennis. Yeah. And this is kind of the first time they've done that. It literally is that. You're putting items and objects and all this kind of crazy crap and these like effects that can really turn the tide of a match onto the court. And to me, it is kind of it's the best version they've had of realizing a Mario version of tennis, because these freaky rackets and the different effects that you end up with on both of the courts, it gives all of the matches like such a unique personality. Like the last one I thought was fine, but it was just who you picked and what was going on in the match. You were just kind of playing tennis against someone, and it had its own strategy to it with the special meter that you were building up and everything. But yeah, each match that you play of this has so much unique personality to it, where you might be, have some mud and then some fire bars on the court. Like you really get into the feel of like, okay, in this specific match, I've got to be really aware of this. And so, yeah, how are you feeling about just the broad strokes of what the mechanics and the gimmick is in this one?
Yeah, I think I agree. I like it the best of the ones that I've played. I think it would have been the GameCube one, which they ported to the Wii, which was, I think, the first one I ever played. And that definitely had a similar style to Aces, where it was like, yeah, you build up a special meter, you do a big shot, and if you've managed to keep your special meter in reserve as the receiver, you could do a big special return. And I think the balance of that in that game was the best that I've played in terms of that approach. I think Aces got it wrong and just didn't feel fun to play. But yeah, I think if they were ever going to do a pivot to something else, I think, like you say, this is like the most Mario Kart-esque of what you can do in tennis. I like the rackets. I think they have cool animations. They look cool. Like the designs are fun. And I think
the sound design of them is great. The sound
Yes.
design of like hitting those volleys back and forth when you've got the fever shot, it's got this effect on it, and the sound of the racket hitting it has this like extra weight to it. And when it does bounce and the effect kind of lands, the Firebar one in particular has this like poof, like an explosion of this thing coming out of the ball. It's really cool. It's like all of that kind of stuff, I think, just adds to it so much. And yeah, like I say, gives the match a real flavor.
Yeah, and I think just the basic tennis is really well implemented. It's fun to play tournaments. I've been doing a lot of that. And yeah, gradually, I think, is it through the adventure mode and the trial towers that you are really unlocking stuff? It might be if you like win a tournament or two, you get a racket or
it's a bit of everything.
Something
you get,
like,
I think you get a character for winning every form of cup in singles and doubles. You unlock characters for just having played a certain number of matches. I think a lot of the rackets you get in the adventure mode. It has like a little achievements page that just tells you what you'll get if you do each specific thing. Because previously, I think the last couple have launched with not a lot of content. The Switch one in particular had a lot of stuff that they added over time, but like this one has a lot of extra modes in it that are really fun. It's got like a mix it up courts section where you've got like a Mario Wonder themed court, which is really fun. You've got the classic ring shot mode. You've got a Waluigi pinball stage, which is really frantic. You've got like a piranha plant stage. All of those are really cool. And then you've got this really neat trial towers mode, which is 3 separate difficulties where you're working your way up these challenges that are just basically these kind of curated, specific, weird little challenges where it'll be like you're both playing with this kind of racket, or there's 3 of you on one, or I can't think of what the other examples are, but they're really neat, and they assign you a character and they assign you a racket, and there's a sort of condition to it. There's some that are outside of the realm of just playing a match of tennis, but they're really fun, and they are sort of what I really want alongside a tournament mode out of these games in terms of a single player component. As opposed to the adventure mode in this, which is the real outlier in the package, because everything else is really fun and I think really well considered. And, you know, these games tend to get a lot of flack for there not being a lot to do in a single player capacity, which I always think is weird in a sports game, because I feel like as long as it's got some form of like tournament or Grand Prix, it's like, well, these games are made to be played with other people, and as long as there's some cups that you can win in Mario Kart, like that's plenty. I think that the albatross around the neck of this franchise is that there's a Game Boy version that has a very in-depth RPG campaign mode that people really love, where you make a little character and you're studying at Mario's Tennis Academy, and it's cool. And they went back to that for the first time with Aces, and now they've tried it again here, and they've just not been able to hit those same, not just not hit those same heights, but like sort of not even really try to. Like this doesn't have any of the sort of RPG flavor to it, other than very arbitrarily like leveling up automatically and your stats go up, but it kind of means nothing. The adventure mode in this is just a very long and arduous, drawn out tutorial. That's what it is.
Yes.
Like it's it's got a really nice little intro cutscene where you're off on a little adventure, and it's very cinematic and it looks cool. It's sort of more than you tend to get in a Mario game. So I really like that setup of it. But then you get turned into a baby and you're at the tennis academy trying to get your tennis abilities back, and it's not only is it a slog, but it's also it's called adventure mode, and we're not on a fucking adventure. We're just at school.
It's the worst choice they could have made. It is literally the thing people complain about sequels and things like that, of like, you plonk the main character in a new story and strip out all of his abilities. But this, it's not even like, oh, you take away all the special abilities. It's like the first time you hit a fucking tennis ball, you can't get it over the net. Like, it literally reduces you down to having no skills, no ability to play the game of tennis, and then puts you in these, like, I mean, if it was fast paced, if it was, you know, bang, 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 you're going to do this mode where you're on a canoe and you got to move left to right and hit balls, you know, into enemies, or, you know, if you're just learning how to do a fucking lob shot or whatever. If it was all really rapid paced, rapid fire, one after the other, interspersed with like story beats, and that went for like, I don't know, half an hour, and then it was, okay, now you're Baby Mario, but you've got to take on all of these enemies and restore, you know, balance to the world, the Mushroom Kingdom, and fix Daisy because she's got cancer or something. Then, you know, that's great. And, like, it even compares unfavorably to the Aces one, which was literally, it was like, you go on an adventure, you hop from basically court to court with different sort of modulations and permutations of how you can actually play the game of tennis. This is just, it's so frustrating and tedious, and it just doesn't make sense. When
you're right, it's
they've nailed the rest of the game. I think it's such a fun game. Otherwise,
a step back. It's a real step back from the version of it that's in Aces, which is disappointing because I thought the Aces one was like okay, but you know, not quite there, and you would think some refinement of that, because I just also don't really know like what it's trying to do or who it's for, because it is a long tutorial. It teaches you about the mechanics of every type of shot, which is kind of handy. Like, there was some stuff in it that I'm like, oh yeah, okay, I didn't know you could do a drop shot and using that when the person is close to the net and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
But also, it's like that segment of it, because it's sort of divided into two things. You're at the academy and then you leave the academy and you go on this adventure, but even the stuff you're doing there is like not particularly interesting. But that segment that you're learning about all the different shot types is like a couple of hours.
Yeah.
So I just don't really understand who it's for, because even the idea of someone coming in and playing the game for the first time, like, I'm looking forward to playing this with Lauren when I get home, but I'm not sitting her down in front of a 2-hour fucking tutorial where she's got to answer quiz questions about tennis in between. It's like, literally, who is this for? You're right. Like, a rapid fire, like a quick 5-minute, it just quickly shows you, here's each type of shot. Now demonstrate that you can do it once, that you can sit someone down in front of it who's playing it for the first time and show them the ropes would be great. But this is too long and arduous to be that. If you've got the game and you're going through this campaign, you've probably learnt this stuff in other parts of the game as well. Yep. And also, it just is such a weird... There's so much fun stuff that they could do with the storyline of it, because I like how it looks and everything. They've designed this whole map of this academy that you're running around in, which is kind of neat, but just sort of misused. Like, I don't quite get why... The conceit of this game being these sort of magical tennis rackets, like, why aren't we doing a story that explains where they came from? Like, why aren't we using that? Why aren't we sort of doing some backstory to, like, oh, we went to Magic Tennis Island and there's this, like, you've invented this new conceit for the game. Like, use that. Like, dig into that. Give us some flavor around why these rackets exist. Like, that would be so much fun.
Get us moving around Magical Tennis Island. We go up into the mountains. It's really cold, and you have to play against the polar bear with the ice racket, and then you get the ice racket after you defeat him. Like, it's just, it's so, like, it's not revolutionary. It's not fucking reinventing the wheel of a Mario game going to a volcano area and an ice, but, like, it doesn't have to. It just has to be fun, and it's
so
not
weird
fun.
Because, like. All of the rest of the game is great. I think it's like the best it's been in a long time and is really fun to play. And then there's this just weird bit in the middle of it that I don't think detracts really from it, because at the other thing that I've seen people say about it is like, oh, you know, they never have good single player content in these games and they've botched it again with this one. But the reality is they haven't. Like, they've botched the specific adventure mode, but the tournaments are fun, and the Trial Towers mode, like, if you just had an adventure mode that was a combination of the tournaments and the mix-it-up stages and the Trial Towers mode kind of all just filtered through with this sort of loose story over the top of it, that would be the perfect single-player mode. Like, they've basically got a really good single-player campaign in here already, but it's just kind of packaged in a different part of the game. So I wouldn't say if you want some single-player content from these types of games that you're going to be left completely wanting by how much of a letdown the adventure mode is. Like, there is still a lot of fun stuff to do solo in this. It's just, it's branded differently, which is a shame because I feel like the adventure mode being labeled as it is and being as disappointed as it is detracts from... No one's talking about, oh, this Trial Towers mode is really cool and fun and a neat idea. Like, I would love a DLC that is just like 5 more just give me a whole bunch of more like curated little matches. That's all I want to do in a single player capacity. Like, I was playing one last night where you're on the Piranha court and you're playing against PD Piranha, and it just is these little things where you're like, I want to play a match. I don't really want to sit there and load up a free play thing and be like, oh, who do I want to play against and what racket do I want to use? Like, it's fun that it just gives you a bunch of specific conditions. And I played one that was like a ring shot mode where the person you're playing against and the ball are both invisible, so you're kind of having to like intuit by sound, like just stuff like just do a bunch of them. Like, it is so strange, and it's a shame. It's a missed opportunity, but it is weird to have something in a game that I hate so much, but I would say does not detract from the quality of the package. You know what I mean? Like, you're there to play tennis, and the mechanics of the tennis are fucking spot on. It's a shame that I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened in the development of that adventure mode. It really feels like someone else has come in who's completely unconnected to the rest of the development and had to slap something together in about a week. It's bizarre. Yeah,
because it's Camelot again, who... as far like did they make that original good one with the good story? Because I think they've made all of them, right? Yeah,
they have. Yeah.
It's so bizarre. It's like you can't even put it down to them, like just not getting what people want. Like, they should know what people want from that mode.
And
but I agree.
That was the thing.
It's an
they used to make
unnecessary
RPGs before they started doing these.
Yeah,
so they should.
Yeah, yes.
I guess, I don't know, maybe a lot of those people have left, or it might be a directive from Nintendo. Because that's the thing. I don't even think that it needs to have like a fully fledged RPG in there. I completely get if that is like too labor intensive and not seen as a directive from Nintendo of what they want. But yeah, like I say, if you're going to start to dabble in that area and like, you just do this really weak, padded out tutorial stuff that then you get experience points and you level up at the end of it, but it's meaningless because you can't ever go off in any direction and find that you're underleveled and go back. You don't get any decision over what stats you're building up. It's completely arbitrary. Just like you do a thing and then it's like, cool, your top speed's gone up. It's like, but so what? Like this is so linear and drawn out that there's no like, oh cool, now I can go and do that. Like, it's on rails anyway, so it doesn't really matter what bits you're building up or not building up.
Yeah. They really should have called it baby mode, because it is baby mode.
Yeah.
And
it is.
If they branded it as baby mode, I just wouldn't have played it. Like,
yep.
Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, the tournaments are fun. The look of it's great. I love all the different courts.
Yes.
The Wonder Court is really great. Love the style of that. Love the music being in there. I hope they add some more trial towers and a couple more courts. And there's a ton of characters to unlock. There's a ton of rackets to unlock. All of the little animations when you win a game or a match and all that kind of stuff are great. All of the personality in it is super fun. I recommend it. If you've liked a Mario Tennis game in the past and you've been waiting for one that feels like fun, a fun arcade Mario-y tennis, I would recommend this. I've gone online a couple times too, and that's really fun. Seems to work pretty well, be pretty smooth. You get randomly matched up with people. And again, it's like just playing with a real person is like, you think you're getting pretty good playing against the computer on the highest setting.
Yeah.
You play an actual person that can do proper mind games on you, and you're like, oh, fuck, I'm really bad at this.
Yeah. I'm fucking 4 sets deep at the Australian Open at 2 a.m. and I'm sweating. Despite a truly bad mode, it is one of the better Mario sports games that have come out in the past 5 or 6 years. I completely concur with the visuals and the animations. It has some fucking juice there. It's really fun. It looks great. The characters are, really well animated, lots of personality. Yeah. Look, if you're...
I really love, and this was in the last one too, when you win a shot, your character has a little animation, but you can still kind of move them around as they're celebrating.
Yes.
It's always fun to do a little figure eight as Wario's going,
Yes. That may be
when
my
you're playing
favorite
doubles,
thing about
you
this
sort of
game.
do a lap around the person you're playing with. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, there's some really cool rackets as well. Like the I think it's the shadow racket where you generate like a doubles partner out of it. Like, yeah, there's some cool shit in this game. I hope they add more content. I know that they did with Aces, but that was already so bare bones. I'm keen to keep playing this game. I reckon it's going to slot in as a nice, half an hour play session of an evening when I don't feel like playing Mario Kart or something like that. It's good. It's a good game with a huge flaw.
Maybe start off playing some doubles with a... Yeah, I mean, I was a bit worried about the conceit of the rackets. I thought there was a version of this where, I thought the potential risk was all of the rackets just end up, the effects are more or less the same. So picking one over the other is kind of pointless, and they sort of add nothing to the game, or they get in the way. But there is a real, playing a tournament or playing online, and someone absolutely fucks your ass with one of the rackets, and you're like, well, I'm using that one next time. Like, that is, if you're on the other side of that, that is a fucking pain in the ass. And yeah, as I say, I think it's a neat idea to be able to counter it back. And if you end up with, on your court, like between the two rackets, or, I mean, if you're playing doubles, like 4 different potential combinations of rackets, like on your court, you might have a fire bar and a thwomp and ice, and just how you sort of then have to maneuver around that. It's so satisfying to land an obstacle on the other person's court and then just be constantly moving them over that way so that they get burnt or frozen or whatever it is. It's, the level of strategy that it invites beyond just the standard, playing the court of tennis is, really fun.
Yeah.
Speaking of things that are really fun, we got to get out of here and do our Patreon episode, because I'm getting close to being kicked out of this Airbnb.
Let's wrap it up.
Thank you for listening.
There were a few other games that came out this week that are on my radar, but I figured, big state of play, and we were both going to ramble on about Fever. But if you're wondering, I'm definitely going to play Reanimal, which I really loved the demo of.
Yep.
And there was a few other things. Romeo is a Dead Man. What else? I feel like there was even more than that I was keen to... Oh, I started Mugenics, which I'll talk about next week as well. But yeah...
I'm going to dive into Reanimal as well, so we can talk about that next week.
Yeah, great.
Well, that is going to do us for this installment of Filthy Casuals. Thank you for listening. Get on the Patreon. You can find the links at filthycasuals.com.au. Support the show. You get a bonus episode every week. Thank you so much for joining us. We will see you next time. And as we say here at the end of every episode of Filthy Casuals, game, set, match.